We're on the phone today with WWE superstar Bayley. She'll be with WWE. They're coming to St. Paul, WWE Raw at the Xcel Energy Center on October 3rd. Hey, Bayley, how you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, you're making your way back to St. Paul, and WWE Raw is coming to the Xcel Energy Center October 3rd. I got to ask, are you excited to make your way back to Minnesota?
Yeah, as long as it's not cold over there. I feel like every time I go there, it's cold, so it should be good this time around. But I'm very excited. It's been so much fun to be back and part of Monday Night Raw and just making the towns again after COVID, where it wasn't traveling. So very excited to get back out to St. Paul.
Awesome. Yeah, and I know it's a ways out, but do you have any idea who you might be working with when you make your way here?
I'm not sure, but I know I'll have the new women's tag team champions, Dakota Kai and Skye with me. So whatever we feel like doing, we're going to do.
Awesome. And I know you were out of action for quite a while and just recently came back. How has that process been like for you, trying to get back into the swing of things?
It has been pretty hard, to be honest. It's been a lot of fun, and I've been doing things that I've never done before, and it's been an honor being on all the shows, just like running wild on all the shows. But my body is so confused. It's like, I was home for a year rehabbing, and now it's like, oh, wait, you still do this? You still wrestle? You still travel like a mad woman? So now that my body and my immune system is catching up to the travel schedule again, I'll be all right. But WWE lifestyle is so wild, but I've been having such a great time.
And of course, a lot has changed in the WWE in the past few months. Of course, the big thing, Vince McMahon no longer running things. What has that been like for you and I guess women's wrestling in general? I mean, you've been through a lot of changes in the last 10 years, but this has got to be the biggest one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's still so weird to me. When the news broke that he was retiring, I was just kind of in shock, and it felt like we needed to, do we party or do we go sit around and just sit in our feelings and feel weird? It was such a strange feeling. It still is talked about backstage how different things are, and not worse or better, or it's just super different. But fortunately for me, I've worked with Triple H for years since being in NXT, and we have such a great relationship, and he understands what I've been through and where I want to go, and how I view my character and things like that. So in that sense, it's been so awesome, and I could see a shift. It's kind of like a new relationship is how I feel like, everybody has a little extra spunk in them just because it's different.
Sure. Well, and I imagine, as you mentioned, you got to be optimistic about things as far as a Triple H kind of running the show and, working with basically kind of everyone who's on top now came through NXT. So that's got to be a good feeling to know that he understands where you're going as far as your career.
Yeah, I was talking to Finn Balor backstage the other day, and Triple H just walked by. He's like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And we were just like, "Man, isn't this so weird? It just feels like it's 7 years ago again." And especially with Finn, because him and I were champions at the same time in NXT, and just Hunter was very hands-on, and having him there again has been it just feels like Twilight Zone.
Well, again, WWE Raw will be coming to St. Paul, the Xcel Energy Center on October 3rd. And Bayley, you've been with the WWE for about a decade now. That's longer than, the runs that guys like Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, Steve Austin had in their initial runs. I mean, how important is it to change things up? And I guess how difficult is it with all the TV time that you have now?
Yeah, I can't believe in January I'll almost be here for a decade, and that sounds crazy because I remember not even thinking I could make it a month. But it's I just worked with Trish Stratus recently, and remembering that she only had however 6-year career or something short like that. Even The Rock, he recently posted something with his match with Brock Lesnar, and he was only in the company for 7 years, and they've both come back, and these guys come back and do things here and there. But to be in WWE consistently for 10 years is just a dream come true to me, and to feel like I still have things to contribute and things that I can do to help the women's division or help the company in a whole is just awesome. It's been the greatest dream come true, and also the most difficult thing, all the things I didn't expect as when I was a kid wanting to be a wrestler, I didn't think, the travel was going to be as insane, or it was going to be lonely, or it was going to be so tiring, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah, I suppose that comes with a lot of things, and especially wrestling, kids watching it growing up and, wanting to be wrestlers. And, when you actually get there, I'm sure you realize that the wrestling part of it's, maybe about 20% of the actual job.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And you know what? You get like so many great friendships and great relationships, and we're all a big family. So aside from being able to see the world, I've been able to meet some of the best people in my life. So it's just been the greatest time of my life.
Awesome. And you mentioned now you're with Dakota Kai and Skye, part of a Damage Control. Can you talk a bit about what it was like for you to come out, this past SummerSlam, and what that feeling was like? The crowd definitely stoked to see you back.
It was such an insane feeling. I was just around the corner right before my music was hitting, and I haven't been in front of fans for almost 2 years due to COVID and my injury. And I didn't feel, I wasn't nervous, and maybe because I wasn't physically wrestling and I was just walking out there, but I was so excited. And at SummerSlam, the entrance was so long and weird. If you guys remember, it was like 3 different turns I had to take. So every turn I took was a new set of fans that were right there in front of us. That was an insane feeling, and being able to be a part of Dakota Kai and Io's moment was just like, that's something I'll always remember. And I feel so proud that they're there with me. So I don't even know if I've had time to process it fully, but it was such a great show to be a part of.
And as you mentioned, you were pretty much wrestling in front of nobody right up until you got injured, empty pandemic shows. I imagine that must have been hard for you to, be the bad guy and keep a straight face and not get emotional in front of all those crowds, especially a crowd that big.
Yeah, a little bit, and I had my family out there. I flew them in last minute. So just knowing they were there, because they've been through the whole journey with me, and they took care of me when I couldn't do anything for myself. So, a little bit emotional, but I was so in tune to what I was doing and so focused and knowing the why. It was hard not to just get caught up in the moment and just be full on focused.
Well, you've accomplished just about everything there is in the women's division in WWE. Is there anything else maybe you're hoping to accomplish, or maybe somebody you're hoping to work with you haven't yet? Yeah,
there's still a lot. There's a lot of women in NXT that I would love to, do some stories with, tell some stories with. But I still haven't main evented WrestleMania, and I feel like that's a big deal to everybody, especially because it's been done a couple times now in the women's division. I would love to do that, or just have a singles title match at WrestleMania. Would love to win the Royal Rumble, but those are just little things. But I think the bigger picture is just to leave the division in good hands, and that's what Damage Control is all about. So I wrote on a post that Rome wasn't built in a day, so I know it's going to be a little bit until I can feel satisfied.
Excellent. And I got to ask you, I usually ask all the wrestlers this, if there's somebody maybe you could work with from the past, who would it be? Could you name somebody?
Yeah, I guess I would say Lita, because she was my childhood hero, and I feel like that would just, be the cherry on top for my story of my career.
Again, Bayley, thank you so much for joining me. I'm a big fan of yours. I've been following you your whole career here, and I'm excited for what you've accomplished, and I'm excited to see where you go from here. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. You guys have a good one.
And again, that was WWE superstar Bayley. She'll be with WWE Raw coming to St. Paul at the Xcel Energy Center on October 3rd.